What is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the rapid reaction. I'll turn this fan on. Rapid reaction of Clash in Italy. Very good show, I would say. Some great stuff going on today. Middle of the day. Let's go ahead and let's talk about it. And yeah, then have the rest of our day for ourselves. No basketball on tonight, so you get the WWE on A&E, so you can watch that. Let's go ahead and let's get started. The first match was the WWE title match between Cody Rhodes and Gunther. Really solid effort from these two guys. They were doing a thing where the referee didn't see Gunther's foot, under the bottom rope, so that was gonna be it for Gunther. And you get the pinfall counted on him. Kind of upset about that. But I also thought that it was kind of a short match. I kind of thought maybe it was kind of a short match. I don't know what y'all thought about it, but like I kind of thought that I'm not sure exactly what the time. I should like check and see. Uh, um, let me do a quick Google search. And then you get the Wikipedia to come up. I guess maybe we'll see. Um, yeah, Clash in Italy, and let's see. Go down here. Yeah. See the the match was 11 minutes and 35 seconds. So on one hand, I could kind of see how that would be, right? I could kind of see how that would be that you know if you're gonna do something where there's a pinfall and Gunther, is kind of getting screwed. Yeah, okay, I can see that. That kind of makes sense. 11 minutes 35 seconds. Yeah, because it was a crossroads. Gunther had his foot on the rope, but the referee didn't see it. So okay, so at the 11 minutes, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But I also thought that you could have gone another. You could have gone another. Another 10 minutes or so with this. But solid effort from both of you guys. These guys are gonna, give it to you, and we have some good stuff here. For even in the 11 minutes that it was. So I thought it was good. Cody again, like I said, Cody won. I give it 3 3/4 stars. So yeah, very fine effort from these two guys. Didn't expect anything less. Next was Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship, and this was, I think, a good effort from both girls. I don't know if it was part of the selling or if Jay just isn't helping Rhea like she should. But Rhea has a really hard time, you know, getting Jade up. Now, I'm not sure if that's, I don't know, over a few months or so if Rhea has, you know, maybe lost some of her strength or anything like that. Yeah, but I kind of feel like it's kind of Jade because I think because Jade should be able to go with, you know should be able to go with her. So once she locks in the thing and she goes, it should be kind of an easy thing. You know, people say like even like the biggest guys. You know, there was one reason why, I think Big Show said that John Cena was like the strongest he ever went to, and he went with Maple Leaf wrestler Mark Henry, who's the world's strongest man, but he said that because he could get him to go. yes, Paul and Big Show was going to go with Cena no matter what, but also he talked about like you think he grabbed him and kind of made him go, but he was gonna go with him anyway. So I think if Cena could do that to Big Show, Jay Cargill needs to kind of go with Rhea Ripley. That being said, I think the match was good. It was solid. Um, a couple of nights ago on they had Alexa Bliss out, but when Michin and BFAB went down, there's going to be a botch. They're going to be talked about where BFAB couldn't get Jay's foot on the rope in time, and it's one of those things where just looks real bad because the referee is supposed to call it, but the referee also knows that there are some spots that are supposed to be, you know, that's supposed to be happening in the match, and he also got this thing in Triple H's ear. You got thing. He get the thing in his ear. That's a direct line to Triple H. We know that from Unreal. So he knows that something needs to happen there, and it looks bad and all in all. I that's all on Twitter. There was some people. Was it BFAB's fault? Was it Jay's fault? I would let me say it's both. You can maybe say it's both because Jay kind of does move her foot. It seems like at the very last second when BFAB was trying to grab it, she should have grabbed it. So I would like to see maybe Jay kind of maybe help her and have the foot already in the kind of in the air maybe or exaggeratedly over closer to the rope so that she can grab it and put it on. Or and BFAB needs to be able to grab that and not stumble and anything like that and things like that. So, but it didn't take away from the match. The match was still great. Charlotte came out there. She literally and figuratively showed them how it's done. She took out Michin and BFAB, and then when Jade had Rhea pinned, she put Rhea's foot on the ropes, and then Rhea was able to come back here and get her with a thing for the 1, 2, 3. So a pretty good match. I gave it 4 stars, and I think now we're going to get. I think we're going to get Jade versus Charlotte Flair. I just think that is exactly what we're going to do. I think maybe we may take out. I don't know. I don't know if that was meant to be like to take out Alexa for a little while or anything like that. But I think that's. But it seems to me that they're going towards Charlotte and Jade and maybe that's the Queen of the Ring finals. We like to see some of the younger people in there, maybe something like that, or Chelsea Green is a good, she's a great um, choice as well. But Charlotte and Jade in the finals of the Queen of the Ring would be nice. It would be good. I think it would be a good setup for those two. But yeah, I give it 4 stars. I thought it was a really good match. Then we have Brock and Oba 2. Now, if you guys watched my predictions video, I talked about in that predictions video a way for Brock Lesnar to beat Oberfemi, and for it to be you know the way to beat Brock Lesnar it wouldn't take away from Oberfemi, as well as maybe keep it Oberfemi off television for a little bit, and that was to use the Camaro and to break his arm. And then referee would stop the match because the arm is broke, would give the win to Brock Lesnar. Then you could kind of say that, the referee stopped it, but, he didn't lose. He was willing, Oba was willing to continue, but he just couldn't go on because he had an injury. And it all makes sense. So we started off hot. We had, Brock Lesnar jumped over at the start. Which, by the way, Italy was even though they were with Oba and they were turning Oba and things like and strutting and everything like that, this was Brock Lesnar's home. As Cody's been saying for a while, this was his home field advantage. Was Italy? They were into seeing Brock. I don't know they've never seen Brock. This is their first time seeing him. They were happy to see him, happy he's back wrestling, and that's incredible. And then the pop when he won was incredible. So jumped him at the start of the match. He gave him 4 A5s, couldn't finish him off. Then decided to go for the Kimura, locked the Kimura in. I was like, yes, this is it. And Oba was in there, but then Oba started to get up, and Brock with the facials and everything like that. This is why he's one of the greatest performers ever. He just is. Whether or not you like the fact that he held the Universal Championship quote unquote hostage, or whatever the things that have been alleged for him, off, out of the ring. When it just comes down to just in ring performing, he's one of the best of all time. I think there's no doubt. I had him at 9, and I'm starting to think maybe that was even low. Maybe he should be higher. He's truly amazing in that. The selling is incredible. His work is fantastic. Just one of the greats of all time, and he's a draw unlike any other. So he had the Kimura locked in. Oba was able to get out of that. They went outside. He gave him an F5. And again, he got kicked out. He kicked out of that. Then he went outside and he gave him an F5 on the table. And at some point, like when the referee, Brock was going to leave with a count out. So when the referee got to 6 or 7, Michael Myers stood up and just started walking to the ring. And Brock is like, and Robo got in the ring. He started doing his corner things, and he had that, and then he was able, and then Brock Lesnar was able to he came out of there, and then he did the suplex throw, and then he went for the fall from grace. He had him up, but he went to then Brock Lesnar jumped down, turned around, hit him with the 7th F5, 1, 2, 3, finally a victory for Brock Lesnar. According to Wikipedia, 6 minutes, 21 seconds. It's 4.5 stars. Without question. It's 4.5 stars. This was incredible. Incredible. There was no need for pausing to tell a story. The story was Brock was gonna hit everything he could, do everything he can to put down Obafemi. To get him down for the 1, 2, 3. You're gonna break his arm and make him tap. Great stuff. And Oba, nobody else could do this but Brock Lesnar. Let's make Obafemi the next beast. And that's what Oba's gonna be. Oba's gonna be the next beast. And it's incredible. So yeah. So Brock, and even afterwards, he was saying it's one. He kept saying 1 + 1. We know what he meant though. I have 1, you have 1. We're even. We're even. So we'll have to see. The next 3 shows are Night of Champions at the end of June. We've got a Madison Square Garden Saturday night's main event in the middle of July, and then we've got at the beginning of August we have SummerSlam in Minnesota. So we all think it's going to be. Everybody thinks it's going to be a 3rd match. How do you get there? We don't know. There is, so it's going to be in one of those 3 places. It's going to be either Saturday night's main event, the Night of Champions, or what everybody thinks is going to be that it's going to be a SummerSlam because that's its own place, and that's when Oba will beat Brock, and Brock will truly retire then and there. So we'll see. But yeah, this was incredible. This is incredible, and we'll see what they do next with both Brock and Oba. Again, I thought it was a great fight. Even though it's 6 minutes, even though it went 6.5 minutes, 4.5 stars. Tremendous. Then we hit the women's intercontinental title match between Becky Lynch and Soruka. Again, I thought these two were did great. I thought we saw Becky Lynch try to go for a soul snatcher, which would have been incredible. I would have liked to see Becky Lynch do that. I mean, she's a pretty damn good wrestler, but I wouldn't say that she's. I don't know if you got necessarily she's a great athlete. But I like to see her try to do that flip and then do like that. So that would have been amazing to see. But so Ruka started coming, stepped out of it, and hit her with a manhandle slam. That didn't get anything. But and this one kind of janky at the end too. You still see Soul as she's again 4 years in the business. This is still her. This is still her being green. Probably a little nervous. So you can really see that she wasn't wrestling, but she was going through the match. Especially when it's in the end. Okay, so we've done this. Now it's time for me to do this. It's time now to do the soul snatch. So you kind of see that she was just kind of walking herself through it. Do what they said they were going to do. So, but listen, that's again, she's green. I think that she'll come out of that when it'll be more of a natural rhythm for her, and it doesn't look kind of awkward. But she hit the stone snatch on Becky 1, 2, 3, got to win. Again in this match, we had some Jessica Carr stuff. Becky Lynch pushed Jessica Carr into the ropes while what's the face was standing on top of him and kind of crotched Soruga. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought it was fine match. I gave it 3.25 star. Nothing. Yeah, just nothing big time, but it's a very entertaining match. And this one, the final one, the tribal combat. This one is going to, I think, um, this is going to split some people. I think, not because Roman won, although that may do it as well. I already saw somebody on Twitter that I responded to. Someone on Twitter said, "Oh, great! Roman Reigns wins again. He always wins. WWE has a hard on for Roman Reigns. The biggest star in the company, hell, the biggest star in the industry is Roman Reigns, who is World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, he's going to win. He's not going to lose the title, to Jacob and lose it to Jacob Fatu, you know, 2 months after he won it. I knew this wasn't going to be, you know, and I think I said on my prediction stuff. I'm not going to be upset, but they're going to have some explaining to do. So of course Roman Reigns was going to win this. How long does he hold the championship? I don't know. He could hold it until next WrestleMania, which I don't have a problem with. Now I said that this might split the audience, because this is one of those things where it's the methodical walk and brawl type around. Roman Reigns is this is what he's now been known for, especially during the pandemic, where he's talking and he's talking to him while he's beating the ass. Um, some people might say, kind of boring. Some spots here and there, but just keep going out. You know, especially when you compare it to last night's Mass versus Mass match when they just, they really were doing it was almost a constant thing here and there that they were doing last night, doing all of that. doing all of that stuff, and it was real, and the energy was just there last night. You know, I watched it, and it was I was amazed by it, and a lot of people are thinking it was 5 stars. I don't know if it was 5 stars. You know, it was great. I just don't know if it was 5 star great. When I think about was that match as good, if not better, than Roman and and Punk? I think the only 5 star match I've given out this year. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's go back and look. Yeah. As I'm looking, well, there was the NXT title ladder match. That's 5 stars, but that's a different type of thing. And then, so yeah. So as I'm looking here, Punk and Roman is the only 5 star match, according to me, that has happened in WWE. So far. So was last night's match as good, if not better than that? It wasn't. That's why I'm thinking. That's why I'm thinking maybe 4.5 stars for that match. But when you take a look at this one, I would say last night's one was better than this one. That's why I have this one as 4.25 match. And the reason why I think this is going to be decisive is because a lot of things, like I talked about the walking brawl stuff, the walking talk stuff, everyone's been known for. There was no blood, although some people may say, well, where was the blood at? Because last night there was blood. But I think, again, there's a history. Rey Mysterio said it last night. They used the word, the Spanish word for blood, but basically he said when it's a mass versus mass match, there's always blood. So he was kind of talking that. So when it comes to um, but I don't think blood needs to be used every time because the reason why I loved it is we love this new era that we're in is because when they've used blood to make a point, make a statement, and anytime it happens, there is there's either an audible groan and moan from the crowd because it shows it up on the big screen and they see it. It's an audible groan and moan, or in the case of the thing at, when Randy turned on Cody, it's everybody has this. They have a make a with their mouth in their hands or like this, and a shocked reaction looked on their face, which is how it should be. If you just keep doing it, and keep doing it, you're not gonna have that. You know. So while maybe in a way you might say, something like this probably should have been this should have been a bloody brawl like last night's one. But then again, you just like I said, you just had WrestleMania where you had 2 nights of blood. You had and you had intentional blood. I think from you had Randy getting busted open, Punk bleeding, and then you had Cody Rhodes, who I don't think bladed, but was bleeding all over the place from something. He hit his face on Randy's boot, I think, and he had staples in the back of his head and this big red spot in his blonde hair. So yeah, it's WWE does a great job, I think, with blood, not using it judiciously. So I think some people may say like that, but again, I think I had it at 4.25 star. I thought this was a very good match. Um, the psychology of Roman Reigns using a there was this one point where I actually thought that they were going for blood. Jacob Fatu he was he was laying near the ropes and then in the ring on the outside. Then he lifted the thing up and was doing something. And I was like, well, is he looking for a weapon or something like that? But he had the tape. He had the tape on his fingers for the tongue and death grip. But then when he goes under, he takes it off. That's what he was doing. He was taking it off because the spot was now going to be hitting his hand. So So he was doing that, and then they stole that. So, but yeah, I thought this was a fantastic, fight, type of combat. Obviously, Roman Reigns needed to win this one. It just makes sense because to me, if you wasn't, if Roman Reigns was going to lose the championship, right, this quickly, then why didn't he just use the backlash to over Femi, right? To me that's the thing. To me, like as I'm looking down the line, and all things can change. For me, the next champion is over Femi, right? That's the next world champion. So now, when does that happen, and how does it happen? Does he do it from Roman, or is there a transitional champion somewhere in there? Now, I don't know if you really wanted to use Jacob Fatu as a transitional champion, especially when over Femi was going to lose to Brock Lesnar. So I kind of just think like it made sense that Roman was going to win, and he should have won, and he did. The Usos came down. Jay did gave him the Ula follow. They walked out. Then as they were walking out, the MFT, Solo, Tama, and Tala, they were there. They were there looking, and Roman said, "They're next. They're next." So we'll see. Um, and as Jacob got out of the ring, he was looking over there. He was looking over at the Fatus. The solo head thing is, you really gonna do this? You really gonna do that with them? Or you gonna come back home with me? So we'll see what happens tomorrow at Monday Night Raw. Again, so special time, y'all. They're still in Italy. So special time, 2 Eastern, 1 Central time. 11 on the West Coast. So make sure you guys are going to be there. Be there. Put a note that you'll remember yourself. That's what it is. And they will have it later in the evening at the regular time as a thing, but it won't be live. So they may edit something out. I like watching this live because at least Raw, SmackDown. I'm not gonna sit and watch. I can't watch SmackDown live. Or anything like that. So, but yeah, I think this is a really good thing. So can't wait to see what they do with that. So with again 5 matches, 3 of them being 4 stars or more. Gotta get this is again another great outing from the WWE. Yeah, this is a great outing from WWE, and I think this is going to be a fun thing for them. So I cannot wait to see what's next with this story. How the MLT get involved. What's next for Brock and Nova? Yeah, and now Cody and Gunther and what's happening with them. So because Night of Champions is the champion versus champion. Because again, as Roman was talking about NFTs, he was also talking about the quarterback one. Then when he was walking, going, no, this is Trevor Who's on here. Bump that quarterback one stuff because the last couple of years they've done Night of Champions where it's been the champion versus champion. And the winner becomes the crown jewel champion. Oh, is that crown jewel? Oh boy. See, I don't know. So I was thinking maybe that, but maybe it's not. So my bad. We'll just wait and see what happens next. All right, y'all. Post your comments down below if you're watching this on the on demand. Let me know in the comment section what you think about Clash and Clash in Italy. What you like, what you didn't like. Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I will see you guys when it comes to WWE in about a month for Night of Champions. Take care.